Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to do a take 10 on Denzel Washington, starting with Philadelphia. Now, this is a movie I saw way back when I was a kid. Fantastic movie. It covers the AIDS controversy of the time. AIDS was a very controversial thing when this movie came out. We was coming right off of Ryan White, for those of you who remember the Ryan White story. If you're not, go ahead and Google search Ryan White. This came right around that time. So Philadelphia came out in 1993. It has an IMDb of 7.7, which it deserves a 7.7. It was a really good movie. It has a 125-minute runtime. It stars Tom Hanks and Antonio Banderas alongside Mr. Washington. This is a fantastic movie. It's really about, it's one of the most provoking, heart-wrenching movies that I've seen, and it's a great movie about discrimination of people with HIV, AIDS. You got to check this one out. Next up, we have The Hurricane. This is another gem from, well, all the Denzel Washington movies for the most part are gems. I don't think there's one that I didn't like. I don't think so. The Hurricane is based off of a true story about Reuben Carter, who was a boxer. And he was framed by a police officer who had it in for him. It never really went into why the cop really wanted him so bad. They had beef, but it really never explored the beef, really. But here's the numbers. It came out in 1999. It had a 7.6 IMDb. It deserved a 7.6 or an 8. It has a 145-minute runtime. It's a bit lengthy. And it stars a very young Liv Schreiber alongside Denzel Washington. Really good movie. You'll love The Hurricane. Very, very thought-provoking movie. Next up, we have Courage Under Fire. Excellent Denzel Washington movie. This here came out in 1996. It has an IMDb of 6.6. I think it could have been about a 7, but hey. You got Meg Ryan, Lou Diamond Phillip, and a very, very young Matt Damon in this movie. This movie is about a cover-up. The military was trying to cover up what happened to a medic who saved her crew from hostiles. And Denzel Washington was battling his own demons from an accident that he was in, where he was a tank commander, and he fired on a friendly tank and killed the crew of that tank. And he was just, he suffered. He was, you know, turned to alcoholism. He was just really having a rough time. So he really wanted to make it his mission to clear this medic's name. Fantastic movie, Courage Under Fire. Next up, we have Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide, here's the numbers on Crimson Tide. It came out in 1995. It has a 7.3 IMDb. I think this should have been a perfect 8. It was that good. It's a 117-minute runtime, and believe me, the runtime on this one, you don't even feel it. This movie is excellent. Not a slow or dull moment in it. Even the moments where they're just talking is very engaging. So here's the cast. You got Gene Hackman. You have a very young James Gandolfini. You got Viggo Mortensen. This movie got a fantastic cast. It's a good movie. I highly recommend Crimson Tide. Next up, here's one that caught me off guard, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. We have The Book of Eli. Now, here's the numbers. It came out in 2010. It has a 6.9. I could go with that. It was good. It wasn't his greatest work, but it was very good. 6.9. It has a 118-minute runtime. The movie doesn't really have a lot of drag to it. Stars Gary Oldman is in here. Ray Stevenson and Jen Beals is in here. So it's a great movie. It's about Denzel Washington. He's on a mission from God to deliver the last Bible where it can go back into print. It looks like the world was devastated by nuclear war, and there's like wastelands everywhere. It's one of those type of movies. But Denzel Washington's actions is being guided by God himself. And the ending of this will blow your mind. The way he was going throughout the movie. Now, when you watch it again, you'll see little hints that he was actually blind. This movie is old, so I don't mind telling you that. He was blind. But you wouldn't never know it until you got to the end of the movie and say, wow, he was blind. But if you watch it again, you can see the little hints that will let you know that he was blind. But very good movie. Indeed, very good. Next up, we have The Siege. Now, this is a fantastic Denzel movie. I was getting ready to select something else, but I wanted to put this one in there. I try when I do these Take 10s to not so much worry about what I think is the best movies. I also try to throw some movies out there from these actors that's not really well known. So you can say, okay, let me go check this one out. I try not to do all the blockbusters. I try to throw maybe some movies that didn't do as well as others in just so you can see something else. But anyway, The Siege came out in 1998. It has a 6.4 IMDb. Did I say it right? IMDb? Yeah, IMDb. It has a 116-minute runtime. It's got a little bit of drag. It's not the fastest paced movie. And you got Annette Bening, Bruce Willis, and Tony Shalhoub. Fantastic movie. Denzel Washington is a FBI agent, special agent, and the FBI building was bombed. There was terrorist cells loose, and I do believe it was New York. The National Guard was called in. Bruce Willis was the general in charge of locking down the city. Him and Denzel didn't see eye to eye. Bruce Willis was locking everybody up. It was a big conspiracy. It was just a whole lot going on. I thought this was a fantastic movie. I'm not going to say it's like in Denzel's top 10. It's not, but it's really good. Next up, we have one that is in his top 10. A lot of these are in his top 10. Well, maybe not top 10, top 20. There's a lot of Denzel movies. But this is a top performer for as far as a Denzel movie go. This is John Q. So here's the numbers. John Q came out in 2002. It has a 7.1 IMDb. I agree with that. 7.1, 7.5. Yeah, okay. It has a 116-minute runtime. And it stars Kimberly Elise as his wife. Fantastic movie. It's about his son needed a heart transplant. And he didn't have the money. Even if he liquidated everything he had, he wouldn't have had enough money to get this surgery for his son. So he took drastic action to get this done for his son. Fantastic movie. Very emotional, very heart-wrenching. John Q. Next up, to me, this is probably my favorite Denzel Washington movie of all the Denzel Washington movies. If it's not my number one, which I do believe it is, I got to really sit and think about it. It's definitely in my top 3 Denzel Washington movies ever. And that's X. Malcolm X, to be exact. Here's the numbers first. It came out in 1992. I remember going to the theater to see this movie. It has a 7.7 IMDb. I think this should have been a perfect 8 at least. It has a 201-minute runtime. It's very lengthy. I was going to say 120. I think I wrote 120, but it's 201 minutes. It stars Ethan Hawke, Tom Berenger, and Scott Glenn, Delroy Lindo. Spike Lee is actually directed, but he also starred in the movie. Fantastic movie. If you never saw Malcolm X, you got to check this one out. I really can't get into too much of it except for Denzel Washington. He played the hell out of this. The whole cast did a fantastic job. Delroy Lindo did a good job as Archie. What was his name? Or I know it was Archie, but it was something else before. Indian Archie, something like that. But the whole cast did a great job. This was a fantastic movie. And this is probably in my top 3 Denzel. Might even be my number 1. Also, Angela Bassett was in here. I almost forgot Angela Bassett. Can't forget Angela Bassett. Fantastic movie. Next up, we have Training Day. Now, this is in my top 3 Denzel movies, for sure. This, Malcolm X, is right there. I mean, where do we start with this one? Let's go to the numbers. Training Day, 2001, 7.7 IMDb, 120-minute runtime. It stars, I messed up. I messed up. Ethan Hawke. I was looking at the wrong movie. So, I'm not even going to edit this. Look, I make these videos and I talk to y'all like y'all my friends. So, look, let's go back to Malcolm X real quick. So Malcolm X stars Angela Bassett, Delroy Lindo, Spike Lee made a cameo in here. Okay? I had to, they right there. So back to Training Day now. Okay, you got Ethan Hawke, Tom Berenger, and Scott Glenn is in this movie. Okay? So Training Day, 2001, 7.7 IMDb. It should be about a 7.7 or 8. It was really good. Also, Macy Gray made a small cameo in here. Really good movie. This is the one that Denzel won his first Oscar for. I think he only has one, but this is the one that he won the Oscar for. Now, there's a lot of controversy around these two movies. Me and a lot of other people felt like Denzel should have won the Oscar for Malcolm X before he won it for Training Day. Now, was Training Day an Oscar-worthy performance? I think it was. But Malcolm X most definitely was an Oscar-worthy performance. And then again, you know what? So was The Hurricane. That was definitely worth an Oscar too. So he's got a lot of Oscar-worthy performances, but you can't get an Oscar for all of them. So although I'm not mad that he won the Oscar for this, I wish he would have won it for this because this was groundbreaking at the time. But what Spike Lee and Denzel did with this movie, with the funding that they had, was just miraculous almost. But again, Denzel won the Oscar for this and not this. That's Hollywood, I guess. Next up, last but not least. So I'm going to do a twofer. And the reason why I'm doing a twofer is because Denzel don't really do sequels. I'm surprised he did the sequel for this one. I heard a third one is coming out. Denzel, he rejected a lot of sequels in his career. A lot of actors will reject sequels. There's a couple other. Joaquin Phoenix is another one who rejects sequels. But I think he's going to do a part 2 to The Joker. But there's quite a few actors out there who just don't want to do sequels. And I don't blame them, I guess, if that's their thing. I wanted to do The Equalizer, but I'm throwing The Equalizer too, and only because Denzel don't do sequels. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only sequels that you have with Denzel Washington, so I'll throw them both in there. But the focus is The Equalizer 1. Came out in 2014, a 7.2 IMDb. Pretty good for the first one. It has a 132-minute runtime, and it stars Martin Kasakas. I think that's his last name. That was the Russian guy who was his rival in this. This was a pretty good movie. It was a good retelling of The Equalizer. For those of you who remember the old Equalizer TV show starring Edward Woodward, it was really good. Now, the difference is they did a race swap. Edward Woodward is Caucasian and Denzel Washington is black. So they did it, but it worked. A lot of times when they do race swaps or gender swaps, it don't work. It worked pretty good. It worked out pretty good this time with Denzel Washington playing McCall. So I did enjoy The Equalizer. I did enjoy The Equalizer too, but I think I liked the first one a little bit more. I just think the villain was a little bit better in this one. But again, that's your take 10 on Denzel Washington. And I will see. You thought I was going to let you go. Not so quick. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 digital codes. This one is called The Homesman. That's your digital code for The Homesman. I'm going to move it in closer so you can see it. You can pause it, get the code. Next up, we have Casino. Here it is. Hopefully you can see it. Pause it, do what you got to do. Next up, here's a good one. Wow, this is a really good one. Okay, wow. Okay, so the date is up on this one, but we're going to try it anyway. It says redeem. Well, you'll see. It expired, but let's try to see if it'll work. I don't know. All right. And here's one called here's Hacksaw Ridge. I don't see an expiration date on this one, so we should be good to go. Hacksaw Ridge. Okay, so that's your digital codes. Enjoy your digital codes. I got way more digital. I pulled out a stack of digital codes from my collection, so here we go. Whoa, here go one. I think you guys saw this one. Slicky. Y'all being slick. Here's another one. I think somebody might have saw this one, so I'm putting it out there. It's called The Post with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. Here you go. Okay, so that's your digital codes. That's your Take 10. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.